Jordan Reed, hamstring. Trent Murphy, knee aggravation and sprain. We'll get a better look at all those guys tomorrow. And Corey got banged up on the last play. I don't exactly know what happened to him. Lichtenslager.
Coach, you had 2 weeks to prepare for today's game. Where did you fall short, and how do you explain what happened just now?
I have no explanation right now. I just have to congratulate Lovie Smith and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They came in and played with greater effort, made plays, key situations, and we didn't. And turnover battle, we lost significantly again. Gave up 6 sacks, turned the ball over 3 times, and created non-accept on special teams. So, it's just it was a struggle today. It was a struggle all the way across the board.
Coach, even in your answer there, it sounds like at this point, after what happened, you have to sort of go back and reassess everything that you're doing, that you've done, and how you move forward from here?
Yep, that's an ongoing process. We get to look at these players, get to know these players, and assess what they're doing, assess what we're doing. That's what it's all about. That's what coaching is all about. Doesn't look like we coach much today, but it's an ongoing process, like you said. We got to continue to coach our offense up, find out what we can do, what we can't do, and try to improve on the things we struggled with today. And same thing with defense. And again, we had some things that seemed simple to the coaches that we had breakdowns with. But obviously there's a reason we are. We have to coach them up better, make sure our players understand what they're supposed to be doing, because we have way too many mental breakdowns again. Yes?
Obviously you had some bad bounces on offense with tip balls and things like that for the turnovers. For your defense not to get any, as you guys preached it all week long, how aggravating, frustrating, how do you describe it?
It's aggravating, but they had 12 first downs, and they were 3 for 10, I think, on 3rd down, and it's frustrating. We got to do a better job of giving the defense better situations to play. We're turning the ball over, giving the ball at the plus 30-yard line. It's 13-7 at the half. We're just not doing anything. Nobody's making any plays that are significantly changing the course of the game. When I look up at the game, you're like, everything is a grind to get 5 yards, and defensively we're not making enough plays. So we got to look at ourselves. Everybody's got to look at ourselves. Quarterback, offensive line, running back coaches, everybody, defensive line. Everybody's got to take a long look at themselves and figure out what they can do to help this team and just continue to compete.
Coach, I know there's never a good time to play this kind of game at home, but when you do have the 2 weeks to prepare coming off the bye week, as a coach, does it sting more? Is it more alarming?
No, it doesn't sting anymore. Anytime you lose a game at home like this and you play like this in front of your home crowd, it's you're embarrassed. And these guys came out. We had every intent. We had a good week of practice to play well, and we didn't play well, and it's very unfortunate. Because it's in front of our home crowd. We take a lot of pride in our home crowd, and we gave them nothing to cheer about today. Nothing early in the game to cheer about. We had a late touchdown at the end of the second quarter, which is great to get us back in the game. A little bit of momentum, but we did nothing to build on that at the end of the start of the third quarter. Nothing whatsoever. So just disappointed all the way around.
Jay, just a clarification on Trent. You said MCL, MRI tomorrow. Is the belief that the ACL is intact, or do we not know that yet?
That's the belief right now.
The belief.
I have MCL. They're going to check the MCL.
And second part, just totally on Robert. Obviously, people make a big deal out of the sacks. Did you think he saw the field well today? Because it looked like there were guys running free in the second half, and didn't get it to him.
No, and I don't know. We'll have to look at the film, but there were some concepts there that we should have been on the same page, and the ball should have been out, and it wasn't. And maybe he couldn't see. Maybe there was push on his face. I couldn't tell from the sideline. But some of these concepts that we had against the covers that we're playing against, we should have had some open receivers. But I'll check out the film tomorrow.
Coach, there were problems with snap counts, with alignments, with interior linemen uncovered for penalties. That's really basic football stuff.
It is. Very frustrating. Yes, we lined up wrong. Put Hankerson in at the goal line, and he went on the wrong side in a formation. And we had a couple false starts, like you said, and had some holding calls. The 3 turnovers. Took some sacks we shouldn't have. It looked like the first preseason game is what it looked like. It was not good by anybody on our staff offensively, myself. we got to first initially take the blame, and then we got to hold some accountability up to these players and find out where the confusion is and why we're having this much trouble saying set hike and snapping the ball and throwing the ball to slants or guys over the ball on time. We'll find out.
You've been very consistent the last 2 weeks that Robert Griffin III needs to prove himself to earn the starting position. Do you think after today's performance he's proved that he should be the starting quarterback?
After today's performance, nobody proved they deserve to start anywhere. After today's performance, offensive line we got to look at, running backs, everybody. You hate to pin a struggling performance on one person until you see the film, and then. But I believe this was a total team effort. This horrific game. But he has got a lot of improvement to do, obviously. Just based on what I saw from the sideline, it looked like there's some things that he needs to improve on for sure, as does everybody else.
You talked about accountability with the year and all of that going into the bye week. Do you feel like the effort was there today? If it wasn't there, what do you think you have to do to get these players?
I think physical effort were okay. I think they're playing hard. It seems like they're running hard. It's just some of the mental hula hoops we're having to jump through. It just seems like it's too hard sometimes, and it's not one guy. It's a combination of a couple different areas where we're struggling for some reason. And you can't do that. We're not good enough to struggle, have mental mistakes, have penalties, have false starts. We blew 2 coverages there in the second half there that gave him an easy touchdown. Didn't blitz the guy he was supposed to blitz in the A gap. There's too much confusion. And if we have to simplify our stuff to let our guys play fast, then we'll have to do that.
When you have a loss like this, are you concerned at all about the team's psyche, and how do you as a coach kind of, encourage them, or is it more about motivating them?
Well, I think, as football players, we have an obligation to, first of all, play this game as hard as you can, because that's the only way you can play this game. And you got to challenge them to compete. And I want great competitors in our locker room. I don't care if we're 0-10 or 10-0. We have to continue to compete in the same fashion on a weekly basis. From a competition, from us going out and competing is one thing. Us going out and not mentally playing well and doing some of the things we're doing, messing up is what we got to get the bottom to. But I think from a quality standpoint of the players that we have in the locker room, I'm hoping that we'll continue to compete no matter what our record is.
Jay, was this a reflection of this week's practices, or was it totally, did you have a good week of practices, or was there a lot of...
I thought we had a good week of practice, and we really did. Energy was good, effort was good. Our guys were attentive in the meetings. We didn't, first off, when you have a game like that, you got to credit the other team, just beating you. And then secondly, we just got to figure out why some of the things happen that happen, some of the penalties, why they're happening, the turnovers, why they're happening. You can't always say it's just getting a bad break on a tip ball. Sometimes we got to create our own breaks and make some plays ourselves. But it's clear out there that the last couple weeks, great players or big players are making big plays in key situations, and we're not making any. It doesn't seem like, other than the screen pass to Halou. So we got to do a much better job of getting the ball to our playmakers somehow and letting them play.
It's a huge game for Mike Evans. What happened in the secondary, specifically on the 56-yarder where Perry Riley was in coverage, Steve?
That was a blitz, and obviously that was one of the ones where we didn't have an A-gap blitzer, and somebody was supposed to blitz there. It would have been a free hitter, and you're hoping the ball gets out quick. But when one of your blitzers doesn't hit the A-gap and would have been a free hitter, the quarterback has an extra 3 or 4 seconds to scour the field and launch a deep ball. The linebacker running down the middle, it looks really bad from a schematic standpoint, and it ended up bad. A great job by Josh McCown, and a nice job by Evans, and poor play designed by us.
Jay, was there ever a point in the game where you thought about making a quarterback change, just maybe to provide a spark?
You know what, maybe, I don't think it really got out of, it was 27, once it got to be 27-7, about 9 or 10 minutes ago, then they had the long drive, and we didn't get the ball back till 5 minutes to go. I didn't think there was any point, really. And then at the end of the game, then Corey got banged up, and we were down to 5 linemen as it was, so I thought it was smart to just run the clock out and get out of here and lick our wounds and move on to the next one. But we got to coach them up and find out what's holding them back. Find out what's holding them back and continue to have him do the things that he does well, find out what those are, and let him dominate that part of his game, and then continue to work on the things that he's having trouble with.
We'll take a few more.
Coach, I know you lost Trent, All-Pro, obviously. But even when he was in there, the line seemed to struggle. When he was out, it got worse. How shocked were you that from your offensive line performance today and moving forward, what do you do with this group? I mean, what offense can you run? I mean, those guys.
Yeah, it's tough, but I don't think it can all be placed on the off. You know, you can't say it's all on Robert, and we can't say it's all on the offensive line because they sometimes have to work hand in hand. You know, sometimes we call three-step drop, the ball's got to be out, and the line's not going to protect forever. And he's got to know where his free hitters are and slide away, and sometimes that didn't happen. But for us to put the blame on the offensive line, I don't know. I got to see the film. But I did know that there was too much pressure in his face, but also know that there were times when he should have gotten rid of the ball and made better, quicker decisions to help our offensive line.
Jay, on Mike Evans' first touchdown, there seemed to be a miscommunication between Ryan Clark and Rashad Breeland.
Down the left sideline?
Down the left sideline,
Yep.
yeah. I mean,
that was just simple two-man.
That's something we had seen. That's something we've seen, particularly in the Minnesota game. Bridgewater just wasn't able to connect on it. Why do you think you continue to have those kind of blunders within the second?
That was two-man, and the safety just didn't get over far enough. You know, Ryan Clark, was reading a quarterback and made his break, and he just didn't get over far enough. And Breeland was trailing him in two-man type technique, and he got to let him get away. And just happened. It was a great throw by Josh again, but that wasn't necessarily miscommunication as it was poor execution. You know, it was a little bit different. The one in Minnesota was when you have a guy wide open. That's a blown coverage, but this one, we played the coverage right, just Ryan didn't get over far enough.
Coach, you weren't here in 2012, and Robert had an outstanding season. Since then, it's been kind of a struggle. Any thoughts on what has happened to his performance in the 2 years?
You know, I don't know. That's a great question. That's something that we have to find the answer to, and he has to find the answer to. I think it's, when you come out and have such great success as a rookie, then it's expected on every game and every time you walk out on the field. But people have got to understand that he's still a young kid, and defenses have changed, and he's got to change with them, and he just got to continue to grow and get better. I see every week there's a great player that struggles at that quarterback position. But we got to do a better job of coaching him up and getting in his brain and finding out what he knows, what he doesn't know, and continue coaching him. He's a talented kid, there's no doubt, but I have no explanation as far as why he struggled since his rookie year, other than the fact that it's a tough game, and you just got to continue to perform.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Robert, when he gets dressed.